Hello, everyone. Welcome to my data visualization final project. Today, I'll be discussing Netflix originals and their room for improvement. I'll be interpreting IMDb scores of Netflix original films that have been released as of June 2021. I've been a Netflix user for a long time now, and I've witnessed how Netflix's business strategy in recent years has shifted towards the production of its own original content versus merely hosting content from other studios. I was therefore curious to find out about how different Netflix originals have performed based on IMDb ratings. So let's jump in with a bit of background. I'm sure all of you know what Netflix is. It's the world's most popular streaming service that offers a wide variety of movies, TV shows, and documentaries. But importantly, in 2015, Netflix decided to come out with its own original content. And this has become, a cornerstone of their business strategy, with Netflix announcing that over 50% of their spending in the near future will be on original content and films. Therefore, the analysis of Netflix original films is a very relevant and important question. To actually analyze the performance of Netflix original films, we'll be using IMDb, which is the most trusted source for movie reviews on the web. They have an IMDb score for each title in their database, with each title being ranked from 1 to 10, and the actual ranking being done through a very sophisticated weighted average formula. Therefore, we can reasonably assume that IMDb scores provide a good way to judge how different Netflix original films have performed. So let's dive into the actual analysis and visualizations. So the first thing we find is that the average Netflix film has underperformed the average IMDb platform film. So the average Netflix film has received a rating of 6.3, which is well below the IMDb site-wide average of 6.8. Netflix has produced amazing films like A Life on Our Planet, which is one of the highest rated films on the IMDb platform of all time, alongside, noteworthy flops as well. So it's been a very mixed bag for Netflix. But despite this underperformance, Netflix has been improving the number of successful films that they've been able to produce. For example, in the year 2020, Netflix produced 48 titles that were higher than the IMDb average. And this was greater than their first 3 years of original content production combined. And this could point to an ongoing improvement in Netflix's ability to produce films of a higher quality. Another interesting thing we find is that short form content that's been produced by Netflix, films that have a runtime of less than 60 minutes, have been received very well on the IMDb platform, with median ratings that are consistently above the IMDb average. More importantly, however, these short-form films also exhibit low levels of variation in their IMDb score, and therefore perform consistently well as a group. This is in contrast to their long-form content, which has a large amount of variation, and a lot of films have been observed to underperform the IMDb average. So Netflix, could improve its performance by focusing on the consistency and audience engagement of these longer form content, and help address this weakness. The next thing we find is that the documentary genre has been very successful for Netflix. The average documentary produced by Netflix has received an IMDb score of 6.9, which is above the 6.8 average. And very interestingly, the top 5 films that Netflix has ever produced have all come from the documentary genre, with hits such as A Life on Our Planet and Springsteen on Broadway. Therefore, this is a very successful niche for Netflix and is something that they should look to strengthen and reinforce in the future. Lastly, we see that foreign films that have been produced by Netflix, films that are produced in a language other than English, have received lukewarm reactions on IMDb. This is bad news for Netflix because they've decided that in the past that they want to be very successful at exporting films, taking films from one region and making them successful in another. So the fact that foreign films produced by them have received an average rating of 6.0 compared to the 6.8 average is very bad news for them. So Netflix should definitely look to, improve its ability to take into account cultural context and the interests of foreign audiences if they want to be able to improve their performance in this regard. So overall, we see that, despite the underperformance overall of Netflix original films, there are a number of key areas that the company can focus on to improve its performance and, turn around its trajectory in the future. And hopefully Netflix can take into account these tangible areas for improvement and, improve its quality in the future. That's all for this presentation. Thank you very much.